What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge Podcast. It's another solo podcast. Hello. Hope you guys enjoyed the ones from last week. It was my first time. I tried to do my best, but it's kind of quite interesting doing these podcasts on your own. Before we get started, you guys know I like to start with the positive quote, but I also wanted to remind you guys that there is a 50% sale going on, herappareltx.com. It's going on until we get rid of all this summer stuff that is left so that we can bring in our new inventory for the fall, which is already here. Not weather-wise, it's not here, but clothes-wise, it's here already. I'm going to start getting it ready. If you haven't gone to the website yet, I've kind of already started to upload some of the pictures of things that are coming soon. So just go on there and grab yourself some merch. And guys, I'm going to start doing videos on how you can wear even stuff from the summertime in the wintertime. There's so many ways you can style it, which I never thought about doing, but I am going to do it now. So go on there, herappareltx.com. And then again, guys, if you want to be a part of her world, don't forget we have a Patreon where you can also get an extra episode every Friday in addition to your joining our community. So Patreon.com/Her Lounge Podcast. Come on over and be a part of her world. So with that being said, here's our positive quote of the week. You can't just give up on someone you can't just give up on someone because the situation is not ideal. Great relationships aren't great because they have no problems. They're great because both people care enough about the other person to find a way to make it work. So for some reason, here lately, a lot of folks around me have been having, relationship problems. So this weekend, we were in San Diego. I had a chance to see my best friend, who's been my friend since probably 1997, 98, high school, whatever that is, 10th grade. And so we were just kind of talking about people dating nowadays and how she has a friend out there in San Diego who is still single, never been married, no kids, in her 40s. But she has this insane list of requirements before you can date her, which is so crazy, right? But if you kind of think about it, I don't think there's anything wrong with having things that you are wanting in a person. That is a must. You just can't start dating someone and think like, oh, well, it's all right if he has no motivation. It's all right if he doesn't have his shit together. Only you know what you are looking for in a person. However, I also feel like you need to be realistic. I'm going to use this person for example because she has a list of do's and don'ts and what you must and must not be able to have or do. So for, height, which is fine, I get that. Teeth, so your teeth better be on point. 3, you got to make X amount of money, which I get it because she's successful and she has, she's well off on her own. 4, you've got to be into all these things. And it's like, okay, so date yourself then. At the end of the day, that's obviously why she's still single because in this world, we're not all the same. So how do you expect to find all these things in a person when we're all made so differently? And if anything, isn't it cool to kind of maybe date someone who is not into the same things as you are, but there's other things that y'all do have similar. If there's a hobby that maybe your partner doesn't have, but you have, I'm just going to use golf, for example. Maybe you don't like golfing, but he does. And so he invites you to come try his hobby. Why not go try instead of just saying, no, I don't really like that? Which I believe that's where sometimes problems can arise because how will you ever get to know the other person? Now, you don't always have to be in their space because it's good to have your own things on the side. It's good to have your own hobbies on the side. I'm going to give you an example. My husband loves to go to jiu-jitsu class. That's his thing, right? And as long as he can get it throughout the week, go to class 2 to 3 times a week, he is good to go. my thing is the gym. I have to try to make it to the gym every day if possible. So I make it to where our schedules accommodate what he loves to do and what I love to do, because at the end of the day, we're still human. And in order for us to continue to grow or to be, not feel frustrated all the time, we have to still be able to do things that we enjoy as individuals. While I think when you have kids, it kind of gets a little bit harder, I do still feel there is a way where you and your partner can compromise so that whatever you like is able to be done and whatever he likes is able to be done. Um, so when you have all these like must have this, must do that, must look like this, must have dark hair. I mean, there's just all these things, and it's just like, shit. I mean, you might as well just go create your man then. Like, go to the lab and say, here we go. This is what I want, and this is what he's going to look like, and come on, spit him out. Like, it's not a 3D thing. We can't just go insert it in the computer and this person's going to appear exactly the way we want. And then, we are human, so more than likely, if you get them exactly the way you want them, you're probably going to get bored at that point, because they're just going to agree or probably just go back and forth with, whatever you want to do. So that to me does not sound fun at all. But sometimes we get into relationships and I feel like we go in them and you're like, I don't know why lately I've been hearing a lot of this conversation about the red flags are there, the red flags are there. And I think as humans, we sometimes, this is not just for women, I think men may do this as well. It's like, oh, well, it's all right. It's not that big of a deal. I can deal with it. But can you really deal with it? Do you really want to deal with it? The first 3 months, it's cute, like the first 3 months is like, oh, that's their little quirk, or, they do this or they do that. And then it's like past 3 months and it's like, okay, now it's just getting on my damn nerves type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when the red flags are there, for some reason, we either like want to fix the situation. Oh, I can help him. I can change him. Or B, oh, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a deal. And then 3 is just like we put up with it when we really don't want to. And we're hoping that it's going to go away. And more than likely, it's not going to go away, because that's just the way that person is. And so that red flag has been there since day one. I think that sometimes we ignore those red flags, and then you start dating, and then you're miserable, and then you're like not knowing what to do, and then you're breaking up, and then you're like sad because you broke up. But then really, should you be sad because the red flags were there? And can you imagine if you end up, let's just hypothetically assume that you then move on to marry this person, because everything else seems to be fine, except for there's just a few things that, you and him just don't vibe with. And you just kind of like put up with it. And now you're married in a miserable relationship, and now it's like a divorce, and now it's like all other factors are in this relationship. And sometimes I just feel from the outside looking in, and obviously, again, not trying to disrespect my husband by talking about my past. It's another reason why I kind of just didn't ever have serious relationships, because I don't know if it was just kind of a mental thing for myself, or maybe just something that I just kind of in the back of my head knew that I would never really technically. I think I was in such party mode and party like fun, and I didn't really care to take anyone serious, which was probably why I never made serious relationships when I dated in my past, because for me it was just fun, and that's why I never really had boyfriends. It was more like, oh, we're friends type of thing. And of course, feelings get hurt, or especially I guess you hurt a man's ego, which is not what I was trying to do, but I was just really trying to enjoy myself. I couldn't have imagined something like my mom, who married at 15 or almost 16, and she was married for 20 something odd years, but I mean, she gave up let's see, when my mom was 36 or 37, I was 16. So my mom already had a 16-year-old at that age. I just was starting to have my first kid at that age. So we've grown up two different ways. I didn't marry till later, she married very young. Which is probably why a lot of the time she used to say, have a million boyfriends before you decide to settle down. And I'm not saying she regrets my dad or anything, but I think that maybe she regrets not being able to party or have fun, like the way I was able to do. I guess, I don't know if you want to call that selfish, but I just was really about myself. Like, I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to travel. I didn't really want to have to, I guess, make time for anybody. I didn't want to have to incorporate whoever I was talking to or I didn't want to have to consider anyone. And that's probably why I didn't really have, again, that many relationships growing up, because I just saw it as such a job to be in a relationship, and it is a job, which is why sometimes, like any other job, when you're in it and you start to see red flags at work that you're no longer happy with, you start to look for a new job, and you start to want to give your 2 weeks notice because this job is no longer fulfilling. And I feel like that's kind of how relationships are. You start to see the red flags, maybe not the first 3 months, because the first couple of months, y'all are getting to know each other. The first couple of months, you're not really seeing this true person, how they are, whether they have attitudes, how they handle stress. Are they a good support system for you? Are they encouraging? Do they tell you you're beautiful? None of those things, come about until probably a little bit more deep into the relationship, where it's like, damn, he never compliments me, or, blah, blah, blah. There's certain things that I think a man will never notice, and maybe not all men, but I mean, my husband does an amazing job of, regardless of how big I've been, regardless of me not being the way I used to look, when he met me, he never says anything. If anything, he's always very encouraging, and he always reminds me of what my body has been through. I just had surgery, and it's kind of you got to be patient. So he's a constant support system for me, a constant reminder for me of you just have to take it day by day. And I think that you have to find that person that is going to still push you and keep you moving whenever, you're feeling dang, I'm never going to get there again, or I'm just not feeling it, or whatever the case may be. You have to find that. And I think you do kind of see things early on, but sometimes if you just think about a relationship or somebody that you dated in your past that you're no longer with and you broke up with, and you're like, damn, those red flags were there. Damn, he was an asshole, or he was irresponsible. He never paid his bills on time. Damn, that is true. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he does that. Whatever it may be, if you go back and think about it, some of those little signs were there. I mean, some are just assholes from the get-go. So I guess maybe you don't see it at the beginning, and that's just the kind of guy you like. Which I don't know why you would, but maybe. But sometimes the signs are there, and you just want to ignore them because, oh, I can help him change, or, oh, it's all right. He's got all these other 5 things that are good. These 5 over here, we can work on them but you really can't unless you're just really gonna be willing to tolerate these little things about them. You know what I'm saying? And hope. And hope that this person is going to be willing to hey, I'm not really liking this, and can we work on that? And it's going to have to be that person willing to want to change for the sake of making your relationship work. For some reason also, if a guy is too nice or they're too sweet or they do too much, it's like overwhelming for the female, I feel. And it's almost like women see it as a sign of weakness when a man is too much for them. It's they're too nice, they're too willing to help, they're too willing anything, you know. It's just like, he's a little bitch. I don't want to mess with him. You know, isn't that funny how we just do those things like with guys who are just like so nice? I guess that's why that's saying, right? Like nice guys win last or whatever. And it's like, okay, this guy is such a good guy. Like he's this and he's that. But yet you're steady still not happy because for some reason you want that bad boy in your life. It's not you, it's me type of situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I just like have been sitting here listening to different people kind of telling me about what they're going through and how, you know, the dating apps situation and, you know, oh, you know, this is the kind of guy that swiped on me and look how ugly he is. And you just kind of think to yourself, like, what if that guy is like a really awesome guy, you know? And just because he didn't meet, you know, 3 out of the 10 requirements that you have for this person, you didn't give him a chance. And for all you know, this person can be so great. I'm just so happy I'm not having to grow up in the swiping era because I don't know that I would be able to do that. Like I just really think that that's hard, and you know, it's quite interesting too that people will break up via text or they have whole like almost breaking up conversations via text, which I can kind of see, I guess, because it's easier not to have to face a person and tell them really how you feel, and maybe it's just easier to type it out, I guess. But I mean, it's like that is the world we're in now, where it's a different generation from when I was growing up. So I guess, I mean, you're just gonna go ahead and just do the breakup via text. Say, bitch, this is over. Bye. You know, type of thing. And it's almost like you're gonna use emojis, like the peace sign emoji or the like bye emoji, like, you know, or use a GIF now. You know what I'm saying? Where you're gonna put someone that's not you. It's not you, it's me type thing, because I saw that, so that's why I keep bringing that up. So anyway, I just think it's crazy. It's crazy that people no longer have relationships the same way we used to have them. Sorry about that. And you know, it just gets, you know, interesting to me. Like when I hear these things, because as I'm approaching 42, I think to myself and I think about my past, and like I think about relationships in my past, and I'm just like, ew, I am so glad I never ended up with any of those people, because I couldn't have imagined having my rest of my life or dealing with them for even a couple of months. I mean, I just couldn't do it. But you know, everybody has their limits. Everybody has what they're willing to tolerate and not tolerate. Everybody has what they're looking for, and as you should. But you should also like want to be open to different things. You should also want to be open to, like, you know, it doesn't always have to be everything on your top 10 list of things that you require a man to have. You know what's funny though is that I don't know that men have the same requirements. I don't know that they have like this whole like must be 5'10", must have a BBL, must have, you know, injected lips. Is that what like they're looking for nowadays? Is that the look, or is that the look that they're, you know, into right now? I don't know. It's interesting how women, you know, men are not saying like, oh, she better have a 700 credit score, you know, or she better have good credit. She better have it going on, because a man's role is totally different from a woman's role. And I think as women, we want a man who's going to be able to provide, you know, and not just be someone who's going to, you know, depend on you, or lazy and not willing to work and push forward and, you know, be a go-getter. And, you know, no one wants someone who is lazy. I don't know who would, you know, and So I think these are all little factors that as it keeps changing, like life just keeps the cycle, cycle of life just keeps going, and just like it gets more interesting. I mean, they're talking about being able to create a baby in an incubator, and you can go in there and design this baby any way you want. Imagine if they started to do that for men. Like, imagine if they started doing that for women, which I know they have those fake little robots or whatever, but I mean, let's just say you can design your human. What would that look like? What would you want them to be like? Where would the spontaneous thing of going to meet someone, going to on a like date, and going on a blind date, I guess it's like not all of that will be gone if we get to the point where we're creating our human, we're creating the person that we want to date, and these are just things that I've been thinking about lately because I feel like I've been hearing a lot more lately about like relationships gone wrong, and not at a younger age, right? But more so kind of like at my age. And if you listen to this podcast, you're probably around the same age range as myself, if not a little bit younger, between 30, or at least my demographic says that people who listen to me are between the ages of 30 and 54. So somewhere you fall somewhere along that age group. And so, I think everybody is just kind of right now in this, I don't know, this weird, like, women empowerment type thing, which I'm all for, but I feel like more women just like, I don't need a man. So, they're not making the effort to like really want to meet a man. For what? I can take care of myself. For what? I can buy my own house. For what? Like all these for what if I'm already doing it. And I think that we tend to forget what or why God created, a partner, it doesn't, and I'm not talking about like, doesn't have to just be straight part, a straight relationship. I mean, in general, like a partner that you're with and that you love. I think we were made to have companions, and being solo is just not one of them. Like, who wants to live the rest of their lives by themselves? And who wants to be so like insanely picky that you can't ever find the man or the girl that you want for yourself in your life? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. And, women just have this, like, I feel like society has made us women think that we don't need men anymore, to where it's making it harder for women to date, in my opinion. We need each other, guys. We need each other. A man needs a woman, and a woman needs a man. Whatever way you want to look at it. I don't care if you're making $500,000 a year. I don't care, whatever. I don't care if you've got 100 investments. Wherever you stand, there's no way you can go through life without a partner. I mean, we were created that way. We were created to have someone that we can hug on, that we can like sleep with. And, I just don't understand why society is pushing so much of this women empowerment, I don't need a man type of mentality. And I was there once, so I'm not trying to act like I never had that mentality. I was there, but I think it took a good man, which is my husband. I think it took someone to show me that that's a relationship's not going to work if this is how you think. If you only see it as like, this is, it's on my terms, it's when I say, it's all this. It's like, it's not a 50-50. It's got to be 100-100. Like, both you guys have to give the same amount. Both you guys in everything, in household chores. If you have children, it has to be like, you both have to be involved. You both have to be there for your kids. It just can't be one parent all the time. It can't just be one partner all the time doing everything. In a relationship, it has to, both sides have to give 100%. And if it's not working out for you, I mean, just like either you need to sit down and talk to this person and say, hey, we got something to talk about. I need to let you know how I'm feeling lately. If that person doesn't acknowledge your feelings on more than one occasion, then it's probably time to let go because that person just doesn't care about you. Now, there's some of us who are out there who have childhood trauma. We got to take that in consideration too, because maybe they saw dad be a certain kind of way or they saw mom being a certain kind of way. So this is what they're going to bring to the relationship as well. So you got to take that in consideration. Like, what's their baggage? What's your baggage? You know what I'm saying? How are y'all going to get through that or work through it so that it doesn't affect y'all's relationship too, you know? So it's like a bunch of shit that's, you know, that it takes to make a great relationship. You know, there's so much that goes into being able to date and not just swipe every time. It's not just about, like I said, these 15 things that I have that you must have or else I can't date you, you know? It's like, what do you bring to the table to Miss I have 15 things that you must, you know? Or a guy, like, what do you bring, sir, to the table that you feel that you can require or must have if, you know, you're going to date me? Like, both you guys have to bring whatever it is that you're looking for in a relationship to the table together. And if this is a relationship that you really want to work for, and it's some relationship that you really want to like make happen, then I feel like it's going to take work from both you guys. It just can't be one partner. And I really feel like if it's not working for you now, and you're not even married, what makes you think that, you know, if you keep just pushing through, perhaps this person would change? More than likely, that person is the way they are. And unless that person wants to change for the sake of making y'all's relationship better, they're probably not going to change. That's just who they are. And either you take it or you leave it and let him find the person that's going to be his half, that's going to let him, you know, be this person that he is, you know, towards someone else. And there's going to be that one person that'll tolerate it for however long she wants to tolerate it for before she chunks the deuce too, you know? So it's just like, I don't get it. And maybe it's just because I'm getting to that age where it's like, wow, I'm so happy I'm not in the dating scene right now because it seems very, very hard. Like when I was growing up, we were writing letters in junior high. I like you. Would you like to be my boyfriend? Would you like to be my girlfriend? Circle yes or no, you know, type of thing. I mean, nowadays it's like you can have a different girl every day of the week. And not saying that it wasn't like that before, but right now it's as easy as a swipe. It's as easy as a swipe for males and females. So with so many options and such easy access to a guy or a girl, why would you even make an effort? This is why it's going to be so weird. Please, God, allow me to live to watch my girls date because I can't wait to see what it's going to be like when they're growing up. I mean, mine are only 5 and 2, and it's a long way to go. So that's why I know it's going to be even crazier for them when they get older, you know? I hope that I am able to still kind of instill in them a little bit of old-fashioned, still like dating and, you know, meeting someone. I hope it's not like through no internet. I hope it's someone they meet maybe at their jiu-jitsu match or that they meet at their school or, you know, whatever it is. I just hope that it's not the swiping situation. And guys, I'm not, if this is how you met your partner, which by the way, I know someone who married. This is way before dating apps were like super popular the way they are now. It's like, it might have been like eHarmony or something. I know someone who early on when dating apps first started, met someone, married that person. They're still happily married. And the crazy thing is I remember being at her wedding thinking to myself, that is crazy. Because it was not heard of for you to like meet someone online, then you're going to turn around and date them, then you're going to turn around and marry them. It's like, how do you really know them? It was a long distance relationship as well, so that's what was even trippier to me. and I'm gonna say I was like 23, 24, and she was one of my older girlfriends. So she must, and I listen to that. I'm way older than the age that my girlfriend was at the time. She was 35, and she was getting married to this guy that she met online. So I know that's not older, but for some reason in our 20s we think that anybody past 30 is old. But I just remember thinking like, damn, I can't believe she's marrying him. Like, she met him online. How does she know he's not a serial killer? How does she know, he ain't all kind of weird and messed up? Like, she just met him. And so here they are. I mean, however long that's been, 23, 33, let's see. Oh, it's got to be over 10 years or whatever, almost like 15 or something. So, I mean, it is crazy to see it all just happen before our eyes. And it's I feel like social media and probably like the internet has made dating just so different. And the fact that you can like now find people from your past on Facebook. I've heard so many stories. I think I said one on the podcast like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I knew somebody whose husband cheated with a little elementary girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? And they ended up having a little affair and that ended, and then she found someone else, So it's crazy because the internet is so powerful, yet it is so evil in so many ways because it has taken the mystery of, I feel, meeting someone face to face, whether it is at a gym or maybe at church, or like your friend is hooking you up with this person, or it's your friend's boyfriend's cousin type of thing. It's like that is like rarely heard now. Like, I swear I feel I hear more people say, if when where'd y'all meet? Oh, we met online, And like I said, there is nothing wrong with it when you date, when you're on there dating for like with in mind that this is like the person you'd like to like date. And I know that things don't like really happen that way all the time, but I think I'm just showing my age, y'all. I just think it's like 42 is really here because it doesn't click to me. And in listening to someone complain so much about like not being able to find someone is like, and it's like, have you sat back and thought about like maybe it's you and not the other person? Maybe it's you that's got the issues, it's got the drama, and it's got like all of these things that maybe you need to fix, and maybe it's not the other person. I don't know. What do y'all think, guys? How is dating life for y'all? If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. Am I just going crazy? Like, is like dating just like, maybe it is fine. Maybe I'm just the one that thinks that it's weird because I don't come from this era of the swipe to the left type thing, or right, whatever it is. I'm sorry. I don't know which way you swipe to like someone, but whatever. I'd like to hear y'all's opinion, like chime in. Do you know anybody that's married to somebody who's successful? Because I do. I know a few relationships that way. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have not come over to the Patreon, come on over, guys. I'd love to have you be a part of her world. It's slowly growing, and I appreciate it, guys. And again, I just want to remind you, there's no way that my podcast can grow if you don't share, tell a friend, like, subscribe, all of the above to my podcast. So please tell a friend. It is the only way that I can grow. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. See you guys next week. Bye.